Hello, Joy Olson, Blockbuster Fundraising. Nice to be with you today. I hope you're getting ready for a great week. And today I thought we'd go back to my new favorite book. It's 101 Biggest Mistakes That Nonprofits Make. It's written by Andrew Olson, who is not a relative, and this is filled with expert tips. This book is to help you avoid costly mistakes. 101 costly mistakes. Well, today I'm especially intrigued and want to talk about mistake number 45, which is not considering the donor experience, which was written by Craig DePole. I think he did a great job. And Craig starts out by saying, or writing, if you search thank you note on the internet, you'll get pages and pages of links explaining the etiquette of the thank you note, how to write a proper thank you note, and so on. The one thing that is clear among all the posts is the act of expressing gratitude by sending a thank you note, and it's important and expected in our culture. By the same standard, not expressing gratitude sends a powerful message of ungratefulness, rudeness, and many other qualities deemed most unattractive in our society. Well, Craig says that his mom would hound him to send thank you notes to grandparents, relatives, and friends after receiving birthday or graduation gifts. He says that he now hounds his own children the same way, and that it's met with the exact same resistance that he expressed as a kid. He says, I've often wondered why writing thank you notes is such a dreaded process. It's not from a lack of appreciation for the gift. Could it be the obligation of the action or the repetition of writing a typically bland and uninspired message? Well, at some point, we realized that the majority of the obligation was in the action of sending the note, and that the written message mattered less. Well, unfortunately, Craig says, nonprofit organizations often have a similar outlook on their donors' experiences. The donors make gifts. The charity sends a thank you letter. That thank you note obligation has been fulfilled, and a crippling blow. Acknowledgments are deemed fundraising opportunities, and direct asks for additional support are added to the letters with replies and gift arrays, and the expression of gratitude dies. Unlike our grandparents and relatives who continue to send gifts unconditionally, donors today expect more from their charities, more gratitude, more relationship, more accounting of impact before they decide to make their next gift. Charities that go beyond obligation and exceed expectations to create a positive donor experience will be rewarded with committed donors and increased revenue. Okay, let's talk about donor expectations. The donors of today are not the donors of our grandparents and great-grandparents' generations. Donors and consumers today expect and have come to demand more from the brands that they purchase and the causes they support. These donors or buyers expect to have a seamless and integrated experience, whether connecting via an organization's website or phone system or through direct mail. They expect companies to understand and remember their preferences, whether it's stated or unstated, and these expectations are warranted. From their music and video services to their retailer and social media accounts, consumers are expecting personalized service, and companies are spending millions to deliver. These consumers are applying those same expectations to the organizations they care about and the causes they love. Unfortunately, as consumer expectations grow, the nonprofit sector has been slow to respond. For a nonprofit organization, the highest level of customized service would mean that donors at every donation level could expect to be stewarded at a level typically received for major donors. While this may seem unreasonable, the organizations that can meet and exceed these expectations will be rewarded with donor loyalty and increased long-term value. The charities that can fulfill a donor's expectations articulate the donor's impact and celebrate the donor's generosity with regularity and consistency, they will thrive. A simple thank you letter, which still plays a critical role in an organization's relationship with the donor, is only the very first step in the process. Well, let's examine the value of customer experience. The corporate world, hey, they're spending billions to garner insight into their customers' preferences so they can deliver a positive experience, which will ultimately cause great retention, loyalty, and future sales. A few brands are known for doing this so well. For example, Southwest Airlines, Starbucks, Zappos, and many others are brands that, while they have their faults, they also have a visible focus on being customer-centric. Why does this matter? Because these brands have rightly figured out that the three most important reasons to improve customer experience are: 1, to improve customer retention, 2, create customer evangelists, and 3, increase revenue. These brands have calculated that if customers have a good experience, they are much more likely to tell their family and friends, and that positive advertising is worth far more than the most expensive direct mail campaign, a television ad, or email marketing. Any of those expensive efforts will deliver less than a great evangelist. Well, seeing stewardship as a revenue driver and not as a cost center is at the heart of this cultural shift for the nonprofit sector. Donors who have the best experience will donate again, and they are more likely to share that experience with friends and family. Word of mouth recommendations are by far the most credible source of advertising. One study reports that consumers are three times more likely to view content created by an individual as authentic and trustworthy as opposed to content created by a brand. Well, creating a positive customer experience is not a fad, and it's not going away, and smart companies and smart nonprofit organizations are investing right now in ways to keep improving the experience that they deliver. In a survey on digital marketing trends, brand marketers were asked to rank the most exciting opportunity in 2018. Want to know the result? Customer experience came in first. Making the experience easy, fun, and valuable for customers is cited as their top priority. So, how can we move the needle on donor experience? Well, start by re-evaluating the acknowledgement process. Put yourself in the donor's shoes. What are they thinking and feeling after they make a donation? What are they expecting? Does the quality of the communication match the level of the relationship? What does the organization look and feel like from the donor's perspective? This evaluation can cause a culture shift within many charities. Despite paying lip service to donor centricity and message integration, many charities still see themselves as the reason the donor exists. Donors give because they love our mission, they say, rather than seeing that the charity exists because of the donors. We can further our mission only because our donors care. There is no magic wand or silver bullet. Donor experience improvements are complex endeavors that require dedication from all levels of your organization. Donor experience spans across all touch points within your organization, from outbound direct mail, email, and social media posts. Donor services, calls, the website, and programs. Does your website draw donors closer or keep them at arm's length? Our donors are presented with endless menu of potentially different options when they call, or are they welcomed with a friendly and helpful human voice? Is there a seamless continuity between the local office and the national office? Is the mission delivery articulated as meaningful and impactful? The cumulative impact of each positive experience will increase revenue and retention when executed well. Now, Craig DePaul refers to a donor experience case study to give you an idea where to begin. He writes that a national nonprofit turned the table on acknowledgments and started focusing on the donor experience. He writes that more than 2 years ago, one organization launched a plan to reinvent the donor experience. They embarked on a multi-pronged, multi-year approach to help engage and cultivate donors in a way that was more intentional and donor-centric, with the goal of increasing various performance metrics, including second gift conversion, retention, and long-term donor value. Borrowing from corporations that are doing this successfully, they developed a series of touches that would aim to surprise and delight their donors. Well, central to this strategy was the welcome phone call made by one of the founders. This action has proved profoundly impactful. Analysis showed that those donors who received the calls had a 53% increase in lifetime value by their second year. Wow. Donors regularly credit this welcome call with being one of the main reasons that they still give many years later. The welcome phone calls were scaled beyond the one founder to include additional volunteers and staff so that more donors could be reached. And a special anniversary card to recognize the donor's loyalty was implemented to supplement the thank you letters and welcome packages that new donors received. The first 5 years are when the relationship is the most tenuous and vulnerable. So that strategy focused on donors during these first few key years. The goal was to show that the organization recognized and celebrated the donors, the new donors, and in their commitment, and to make sure that they felt appreciated. A card might appear unnecessary or wasteful by some donors, so listen to this. The card was designed to also serve as a branded frame that could be used to display a favorite photo. Isn't that a cool idea? Well, improving the donor experience is as much about eliminating negative experiences as it is about creating positive ones. Donor frustrations can build up over delayed acknowledgement or feelings of powerlessness over the number of communications and solicitations they receive. So, speeding up your acknowledgement process to increase donor gratitude is an area of great focus. Donors were also given more power to choose the number of contacts that they received. A brief message was added to the mailings to encourage donors to customize their communication preferences. And donor relations teams were instrumental in this process as well. Well, the donor experience efforts at this organization continue. Stewardship communications and programs are being evaluated regularly and adjusted to remain focused on the donor. The website and social media accounts are continually being refocused to delight and engage. The donor experience commitment has gone to the highest level with the new Chief Experience Officer position, created to ensure the focus on donor experience is consistent throughout the organization. Taken cumulatively, along with all the other efforts, revenue increased 14%, and donors are being retained at a rate that is 9 percentage points higher than the industry average. So how are you going to create a positive donor experience? Being truly successful in driving a better donor experience starts with an organization's leadership. Its board and all levels of executives must decide to make donor experience a priority. Nonprofit leaders must decide that donors are not a metric to be counted, an endless source of revenue, or easily replaceable. Donors need to be viewed as a precious resource to be valued and cultivated. The donor needs to be seen as the backbone of the mission and treated as such. Align staff and volunteers under the presumption that each of them is personally responsible for executing on donor experience. Articulating this simple premise is critical to start. Next, articulate the organization's vision to the donor, whether it is that every child is fed, every animal has a safe and loving home, every family has a roof over his head, every ocean is clean and sustainable, every disease finds a cure, every historic and artistic institution is preserved and promoted, or something else. Donors want to buy into the ideal world vision and the plans to achieve it. And get your details right. All the best efforts fail if the data is inaccurate and the details aren't mastered. Things like misspelling, gifts not attributed correctly, and wrong information lead to a lack of trust and a feeling that the organization is not on top of its game, or that details don't matter. Show your humility and your humanity. Yes, despite our best efforts, sometimes we get it wrong, but it's how an error is resolved that sets apart the best from the rest. In an age of social media, when one person's complaint or slight can go viral, the brands that put the donor first will succeed. And finally, deliver content and service that aims to surprise and delight the donors. This may sound easy enough, but this is where organizations can get caught navel-gazing, as Craig puts it. Dig deeper and go beyond the boilerplate language and the same old, same old. Use creative and engaging ways to report back to the donors about the positive impact they are making, such as personalized videos, on-site reporting, or handwritten notes. Chances are good that the beautiful annual report that you spent months on didn't even register with them, and that Thanksgiving card was perceived as nice, but not much more. Well, throwing out the tried and true is risky, but failing to innovate and bring forward fresh ideas is far riskier. Find your organization's voice and personality and capitalize on it everywhere you can. Your donors will thank you for it, and they will be loyal, and they will keep coming back. Hey, this is Joy Olson. Love this chapter. Don't you think it was really good? You want to check out this book. So many great mistakes that you can avoid. 101. Anyhow, thanks for having been here today. Joy Olson. Find out lots more fundraising information. JoyOlsonGroup.com, BlockbusterFundraising.com. We have a YouTube channel with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of free fundraising tips. Blockbuster Fundraising YouTube channel. We are having so much fun with our Instagram IGTV, and we love it that you were here today. So thanks for having been here. We appreciate it. See you soon again. Bye-bye.